President of the Council. And I give the floor to the representative of Israel.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Chiari and Mr. Knight, for your valuable briefings. I would further like to thank the United States for their excellent presidency. Moreover, I would like to thank outgoing Security Council member Mozambique, Ecuador, Japan, Malta, and Switzerland, and welcome the new members Denmark, Greece, Pakistan, Panama, and Somalia. Recently, my phone buzzed with a notification that shocked me to my core. The school I myself attended as a child for 8 years, a place that shaped my earliest memories in my hometown, Ramat Gan, was struck by a ballistic missile launched by the Houthis. My own school in my own hometown. Its classrooms, once filled with the laughter of children, were forever changed by their terror. In another attack, a playground in Jaffa filled with children was struck, leaving a 3-year-old critically injured. Since then, the Houthi terrorists have been launching an endless bombardment of ballistic missiles at our population centers. Answer me honestly, what would you do if it were your child, your school, your city? Because this isn't just my story, it's Israel's story. And it's a story we are living every single day. We have had enough. Once again, millions of Israelis are waking up every night to the sound of sirens wailing across the country. Yet another ballistic missile launched by the Houthis, again and again and again. For over a year, this Iranian-backed terrorist organization has unleashed almost 300 unprovoked missile and drone attacks targeting Israeli civilians and communities. 300. This is systematic, calculated terror. Look at this map. Look at the distance between Yemen and Israel. Israel does not even share a border with Yemen. 2,000 kilometers separate us, 1,500 miles. 2,000 kilometers. We have no dispute with them. Yet they send their missiles and their drones to murder our people. And why? Pure, radical, jihadist hatred for Jews. This is no surprise. The Houthis proudly present their banner, which contains their slogan, and I quote, you can look at their flags. It's called, God is the greatest, death to America, death to Israel, curse upon the Jews, and victory to Islam. Their violence is rooted in a burning hatred of Jewish life. Under the watch of this council, the Houthis have grown from a terrorist group into a terrorist army, all with the help of their Iranian paymasters. According to the UN's own experts, and you saw the documents, the Houthis now possess advanced ballistic missiles from Iran, including the previously unseen Khatam-2 ballistic missile, new UAVs also from Iran, increased technological expertise from Iran, and extensive training again from Iran. And what's the result? The number of Houthi terrorists has exploded to over 350,000, compared to just 30,000 in 2015. The Houthis are a crucial strand forming the web of terror that links Tehran's proxies. Iranian support for the Houthis violates Security Council Resolutions 2140 and 2722, and is an assault on all tenets of sovereignty and international law. Let's talk about money. The estimated Houthi annual budget is $1.2 billion, derived from illegal activities, bribes, stolen assets, and covert trade in the Gulf of Aden. Much of this funding also flows directly from Iran. However, Iran's support is not limited to arms and finance. Houthis receive technical assistance and training from Iran, Houthi combatants are trained in Iran, where they gain expertise in producing missiles, drones, and advanced weaponry. Training from Iranian forces, including the IRGC Quds Force, increases their ability to accurately target vessels in the Red Sea. We even have the names of the key Iranian officials involved in this terror training, and I'll give you the names. High-level Iranian advisors, such as General Rostam Qassami of the Quds Force and Major General Muhammad Ahmad al-Talibi, both of them coordinate with Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi. Meanwhile, the UN's failure to enforce its arms embargo has directly enabled the Houthis' reign of terror. Their resilience on maritime supply lines from Iran remains unchecked. We heard about the port of Hodeidah, advanced missile systems, engines, fuel, and warheads are funneled through Houthi-held Red Sea ports. Yet, the UN verification and inspection mechanism has failed in its responsibilities. We are aware of several ships which have docked at the port of Hodeidah this year without any inspection, blatantly violating Security Council resolution. This negligence sustained Iran's supply to the Houthis, fueling their terrorism. The international community's complacency has handed terror a free pass. We are now dangerously close to a situation where the Houthis completely strangling the Suez Canal, this critical route of global trade, relied upon by almost all nations, is under direct threat from a terrorist organization. The implications of such a scenario are unthinkable. President Sisi of Egypt revealed just days ago that the Egyptians' revenue from the canal has declined by 60%, which is a loss of almost $7 billion for a nation already facing economic challenges. Yet, the UN's failure to act has brought us to the brink of this disaster. It somehow gets worse. The Houthis do not spare anyone, not even the children of Yemen. In just the first half of 2024, Yemen's government documented over 3,000 cases of child recruitment into the terrorist group. Your silence has emboldened them. If you think the Houthis are only our problem, you are wrong. Security Council reports document their attacks on Middle Eastern vessels. 134 attacks on merchant ships, commercial vessels, and US and UK warships between November 2023 and July 2024. Ships are constantly under attack. I'll give you a few examples. The Sea Champion was sunk in February. 3 crew members of the True Confidence were murdered in a missile attack. To this day, 25 crew members of Galaxy Leader are still held captive. UN experts stated that such attacks using these weapons against civilian ships had not been seen since, and I quote, World War II. Since World War II. It is time the world wakes up. A terror group attacking trade routes, collaborating with global terror networks, and armed by Iran is not just a regional threat. It is a grim warning for the world order. They have been given a green light for terror. But let's truly address the elephant in the room. Iran. Distinguished Council members, the Houthis are nothing more than Iran's weapon in its war against peace. Iran's fingerprints are on every missile, every drone, every attack. Military experts confirmed the Houthis could not achieve their capabilities without Iran's direct support. Their transformation into a terrorist army is Tehran's doing. Yemen's chairman of the Presidential Leadership Council has pleaded for action against Iran's funding of the Houthis. Madam President, we have come to this council not just to address the threats posed by the Houthis, but to challenge the double standards that hangs over this body. Some nations here preach the values of international law and human rights while turning a blind eye to those who violate these very principles with impunity. Madam President, we have listened to the briefers. We have all heard about what this terrorist organization is doing. Will the Council condemn the Houthis today? You know, we all heard bad things about them, but there will be a condemnation. What we are doing here today? You know, the Secretary General, he calls for both sides to de-escalate as if we are moral equals, and the Security Council cannot issue a basic condemnation against a terrorist organization. Israel will not wait for the world to act. Israel will protect its citizens, no matter how far the threat comes from. If you didn't speak up when our schools were hit, don't speak up when we respond. Don't call for de-escalation when we defend ourselves. Don't equate aggressor and victim. Don't demand restraint from a nation protecting its children. Israel has always acted with strength and resolve to protect its people, and we will not be deterred. If 2,000 kilometers is not enough to separate our children from their terror, it will not be enough to protect their terror from our strength. Our response will continue to be strong and decisive, and it will send a clear message to all who dare to harm our citizens. Israel will not hesitate, and Israel will not forgive. To the Houthis, perhaps you have not been paying attention to what has happened to the Middle East over the past year. Well, allow me to remind you what has happened to Hamas, to Hezbollah, to Assad, to all those who have attempted to destroy us. Let this be your final warning. This is not a threat. It is a promise. You will share the same miserable fate. Thank you, Madam President.
I thank the representative of Israel for their statement.